We are live, man. So once again, thank you so much for the opportunity. Uh, like I already explained, this is really a great opportunity. How's your
Oh,
day
thank you
been?
for having me. Oh man, it's been. I think this is interview number 10. It's been
so
awesome.
yeah, so
It's been
yeah,
awesome. I love to. I, I'm okay with that. This is a
yeah.
blessing. This is a blessed opportunity. Um, this is my second media day. I
Okay,
think when I'm done, there'll be close to maybe 30 to 35 interviews. But
yeah,
it's a blessing to be able to tell your story, and
absolutely.
I got a story to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a blessing to be able to tell it, but then it's also a blessing when people get it and they can really relate to it, and you can see,
Absolutely,
obviously, you can see in the conversation and hear in the conversation how much it, really resonates with people, and how
absolutely,
they can really relate to it. Um,
absolutely.
I feel like just really watching you over the last 20 years because for starters, I have been a huge fan of Jill Scott since the very beginning. So
Me
I
too.
know the work that you did with Jill Scott. I was all over Hidden Beach at that time. So like from you to Jill Scott to all the many artists that were on that label, and then they were
Kendrick the
doing
Family Soul. Kendrick the Family Soul.
yeah, yeah,
Mike Phillips. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's amazing how many souls and spirits, like even when you look at Kendrick the Family Soul. I did something with Coco Brown, and like she walked in the studio and she was singing Kendrick the Family Soul, and it was just like
Wow.
wow. And
Mm.
just to kind of see your transition over the last 20 years, like you've had album after album after album, and you've worked with so many of my favorite people. So I look at the Kimberells, which actually I was just listening to that right now. I don't know if you heard it playing. Love,
Love. Mm.
Music Soul Child, and Tweet. Like when I tell you, like I have followed her around. Like I like Tweet, and just the many artists that you've worked with. Like how do you decide who you want to pair with? Just in terms of putting your music together.
I really don't know until I hear the music. Some people I know will talk before, but like, man, I'm working on a new record. We got to do a song together, But I never marry an artist, I guess, with a song until I hear the music. It all
Right.
starts with the music. Once I hear the music, if I'm recording something, or I'll reach out to some of these great producers we have that understand what I do and the way I do it, and that are fans of my music and my approach to this thing. Um, uh, that's when I know. Like on Make Some Time on this album with Eric Roberson, when Isaac Phillips, great producer out of Jersey and now in LA, when he sent me the song, um, I knew once I heard the song that, oh, this is a vibe. And I was like, I could just hear the stuff I was going to play on it. And then I heard Eric's voice, uh, and I sent it to Eric. And I think Eric wrote the song in 2 or 3 days and called me and told me what the story was about before he let me hear the song. He said it's a story about a man, about two busy people, a man and a woman, and or just two people in a relationship. And it's like one person has to make time for themselves, the other person has to make time for themselves, and then they have to make time for
For
each
each other.
other.
Right.
And then at that time, and only then, can they make time for love. And
Absolutely.
that's what the story's about. Two busy people who need to find a way to make time for the things that are important. And how many of us can relate to that
I was just getting ready to
simple?
say that so many people
I
can
mean,
relate
it's
to
a
that.
story. It's a story that we all know as
Absolutely.
musicians, and it doesn't matter if you're a musician in the music business, a corporate executive, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever you are, a small business owner, whatever you are, whatever you do, you have to make time for the one, and then the one can make time for you,
Absolutely.
and then you and your person can make time for love. It's a
Absolutely.
simple story, and it's a story we all know, and that we all
It's a
can
story
relate
that we
to.
all know, but so many people don't get it though. So
Yeah, and I mean it's something that I've struggled with my entire career.
absolutely.
And Eric is just a great wordsmith, a great wordsmith. He's one of the most incredible wordsmiths and songwriters in our business. And it was an honor to do this song with him again. Honor to work with my brother again because we just make magic together, man. We make magic together.
Were you like as a child? Were you musical, or did you play trombone as a child? Or
So I grew up in a church called the United House of Prayer for All People, where gospel brass bands are featured in the music ministry. My father, Norman Bradshaw, the late Norman Bradshaw, who was a multi-instrumentalist. He played trumpet, baritone, horn, trombone, tuba, guitar. He sang. He was a great preacher, youth minister. Um, my father taught me to play trombone. He, a lot of people don't know I'm self-taught. I didn't go to music school or any accredited music college for music theory. I'm self-taught. My father taught me how to play trombone. He taught me to play old gospel songs, old gospel songs. Uh, and his eyes is on the sparrow, Amazing Grace. How great thou art. My master, peace be still. Peace be still. He told me to play the words, so I had to learn the songs first. Had to learn the words of the songs, and once I knew the words of the songs, then he taught me to play the words of the songs. That's how I learned how to play trombone. To playing, to playing. I went from playing to singing.
Mhm.
So now I'm no longer sing. Now I'm no longer playing trombone. I'm singing trombone,
And I'm glad
and
that
that.
I'm glad that you explain it that way, because the thing that I get, or the vibe that I get when I listen to your music, is it's like I feel like I'm hearing the words to the song, like you did on this album, Jeff Bradshaw 2.0. You redid by Tyrese, the song
Yeah,
by Tyrese, and it's like the minute it came on, I'm like, okay, and I'm like singing the words to the song, and I'm not even gonna front to you, I'm not a big Tyrese fan. But
right.
it's like when the song came on, it was like it instantly hit, and it's like the words were coming out, and I felt
Yeah,
like I was listening to the words versus listening to the trombone.
I've always been a big fan of Tyrese's singles, and "Time for Making Love," "Stay," and "How You Gonna Act Like That" is my favorite Tyrese song.
I
I've
love
always
that.
wanted to play.
Yeah, I
I love
love
it.
that. And actually, what he has with Leandria Johnson right now that plays on the radio, I'm like,
Great song, great
yeah,
song, great
it
song.
like it hits me.
And shout out to Music Matters, SRG. I think Tyrese and I were in the same company, so we're label mates. So um, so playing the words. So when the song first comes on, I was oh
Right.
man, you got to hear it live though. Oh my God,
And that's the
I just
thing.
got
I love live music. So like that's something that like I love live music.
and
Um,
that song only even on the album. It was produced by an incredible producer out of Atlanta named Jelani Jackson.
okay,
Another,
I know
br-
Jelani.
Jelani,
Yeah,
brilliant musician. Jelani can play any and everything on the bandstand and play it well, like it's his first instrument. You're like, wait a minute, do you play bass or drums? I play
right,
both. What, do you play
right.
guitar too? And you sing? So
Yeah,
that's Jelani. He played everything on that song, every instrument on that song, and that's him singing.
that's amazing.
Everybody's like, you got Tyrese to sing on that? I'm like, dude, that's Jelani. I said, dude, that's Jelani singing on that song with the filter on it. And it sounds just like Tyrese,
Right.
but it's not. I mean, he's such an incredible and humble spirit, and it was great to work with him. And he also mixed and mastered the whole album. So shout out to the great Jelani Jackson out of Atlanta. He blessed this album, and how you gonna act like that? And of course, my boy on tenor sax, my boy, the incredible Mr. Mike Burton, who's actually in Vegas right now with Usher doing the residency playing the good. Shout out
Man,
to the
I keep hearing so much
good time
about that Usher.
horns. Yeah. Hmm.
But the album as a whole, man, is really amazing. Like, how long did it take you to actually put the album together?
11 months from start to finish.
Okay.
I was very purposeful. I was very purposeful about not rushing, but it just came together the way I wanted to come together. I got to work. I wanted Eric to work. I wanted Eric. I wanted Eric, and I wanted Raheem. I want to be Slade. Uh, I want to be Slade on the record because I when you're that close to that kind of genius, you just kind of want to like B. I was like, B, let's do a song together. He was like, absolutely. He's so kind,
Right.
but he is truly an alien. There's nobody. There's not too many people that have that kind of artistic creativity and gift all in one person. And B.
Right.
Slade is probably one of the most brilliant people, one of the most brilliant musical geniuses I've ever worked with. It was an honor to work with him. I've been a fan of his for years, and to be able to work with him, and he's just so humble, so kind, and he's a visionary. And it was a blessing to work with him on the record.
Yeah, I always credit I always credit my mom for introducing me to jazz and just to the music behind what we hear out there, because that really opened my eyes even as a teenager, just to like the type of music that you're making and just jazz as a whole. So
Right?
it made me more appreciative of the instrumentation. So like even on the hip hop side, when you see people with bands and you see them
Right.
playing the music, like Juvenile just did a tiny desk concert like 3 weeks ago, and it's like,
Yeah.
man, like
Yeah.
I love,
Horns and everything. Horns and everything. It was awesome. It
yeah,
was awesome.
yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I do a podcast, and I'm trying to get him on my podcast, and I just probably 15 minutes ago I just sent something to his manager like, listen, we got to get him on this podcast. Like,
He was
I
awesome.
love the music and just
Yes.
the entire musicality and all of that stuff. So
Live
I
music
appreciate
is
you for what you do.
live.
And
Live. Thank you. Live music is king. The people don't like how amazing it is for to have a bandstand. I think with Patty, with Miss LaBelle, who I've been touring with now for since 2012.
which
So
is
11 years. For 11 years, that is 13 of us on stage, and how we move as one oiled machine. Everybody, everybody has their jobs, everybody has their responsibilities, and how this band of brothers and sisters, how we all move together, you know, you know, expertly in our, in our craft together, and it's so masterful. Sometimes I look around in awe, like in situations that I've been in, tours I've been on, and I've been on tour. I've been blessed to be the tour with so many great artists, and I've also been blessed to be on stage with so many great musicians,
yeah,
and how we all move together as one big oiled machine. Everybody with their own responsibilities. Live music is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
I love that. I love that you speak on that and just your entire journey and the many people that you've been able to share the stage with. Like, did you see this for yourself when Steve McKeever was like reaching out to you and you were sending him songs? And, like, did you see this for yourself 20
Um, not all of this,
years ago?
uh, not all of this, but I knew that I had something special, and I knew that God gave me a paintbrush, and I was going to paint a beautiful Picasso over my life. That my life would be a beautiful musical Picasso. I had no idea the level it was going to be on. I didn't know if I was just going to be playing in jazz clubs in Philly for the rest of my life, or
Right.
I was going to be playing on stages all over the world. But God is good, man. God
Absolutely.
is
Oh,
good, and I'm just painting my story, man. Just
absolutely.
painting my legacy, and just trying to create who trying to I understand the responsibility that I have, um, to as being a trailblazer, as being a
Absolutely.
trombonist in a genre on my own, in a genre by myself, um, at this level, trailblazing, and understanding that I have to continue to raise the bar, continue to go as high as I can, to continue to be as creative as I can,
Absolutely.
and so that the trombone players that want to be artists that come after me, or even while I'm still here, that they will see the template that I laid down, that they will
Absolutely.
be able they will be able to ride in this in those tire treads that are left in this trail that I'm blazing.
Um, I think that you have done so much for so many different artists and so many different people, just in terms of obviously spreading awareness and keeping people out there, keeping people working, and obviously you're making beautiful music. But just the same way as they've helped you, I think that you've done so much to help so many other people.
Oh
So
yeah, I mean, yeah. We give to each other, like the great musicians that have played for Jill Scott, where we started at. I look at a lot of those musicians, Adam Blackstone, um, uh, uh, I mean, Pete Kuzma, June Burvine, um, Thaddeus Trebek. I mean,
yeah,
these
and you
guys. You look at these musicians; they're everywhere, playing with
yeah,
the biggest artists in the world, man.
and like you and
Brian,
Take Six did All This Love, and it was like wow, like that, like this sounds beautiful.
thank you, man. I mean, it's a blessing, man, and to see her continue
Yeah,
be to continue to be amazing as she is, and as creative and purposeful about making sure that the words are first, that words matter. Jill
absolutely,
Scott's Jill Scott's music is funky and groovy and feels good, but she always, she's intentional about
absolutely, very much,
the words, that the words come first. That
very
the
much so.
words are the most important thing about her music. She wants you to hear her stories, and boy, I mean, she's a poet. She's a
Yeah,
writer. That's what she does. She's a
absolutely.
wordsmith. She's a wordsmith. And she is, in my opinion, the best at it.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Um, Promotion wise, what more will you be doing? Like, are you actually doing shows and touring, or
I'm leave tomorrow. I had like a 9-day break. I put and I leave back on tour tomorrow. Back on tour with Patti LaBelle, special guest with Patti LaBelle, and my tour all at the same time. Touring with her, doing my shows in between, and promoting this great album, Jeff Bradshaw 20, this historic 20th anniversary album that I hope everybody will download and stream and tell your friends. And I'm not just saying that because people say that. I'm saying that because it is my best work. It is a great body of work. And if you listen to it, you're definitely going to tell your friends. Just listen to it.
absolutely? I feel
Just
I
listen
feel
to it.
that. Like I wholeheartedly feel that. Like listening to it, like you can absolutely hear the progression from 20 years ago, and then to the next, and then to the next, and and so on and so forth. So I
Thank you.
think you've done an amazing job with it. I with Raheem Devon. That's another one of my like. And what's cool about that is it's like the minute you hear his voice. Like I was in the car. I drive Uber, so I had people getting in the car, and I'm getting ready to turn it down, and I'm like, "That's Raheem Devon." Like that's Raheem Devon. I
Right,
hadn't even really looked at like the credits on the album to see who's
right,
featured on it, that sort of thing.
right.
So he has that voice that's distinctive enough that the first word he says, that is him.
I mean,
Um,
Raheem's the love king. He has a
Absolutely,
sound. He has a sound. Uh, that's my brother. Obviously, we've worked together before. Whenever we get together, it's always magic. Brought in
absolutely.
my boy Chill Moody to come in and spit on it, and Chill's a great writer, a dope hip hop artist. He understands concepts, and he was the right person for the song. And I think as the song turned out to be a really great masterpiece, produced by the great tall black guy of the DMV, tall black guy. Him and Zoe, they toured together. Tall black guy and Zoe, they toured all over the country together. And he sent and TBG is a great producer. And I was honored to finally uh, be able to work with him. And then the song I is so dope, it's so dope.
What is the one thing that you feel like you have learned that has taken you through this your 20-year career, and then also that will keep you transcending?
Um, Here's a lesson that I continue to learn. In 2000, I met Quincy Jones at a Jill Scott concert at the House of Blues in Los Angeles on Sunset. Quincy was there to see Jamie Hawkins. I don't know how old you are, but I don't know if you remember
40.
Who Walter
Well, I'll be
Hawkins
46
is.
this weekend, so yeah,
Okay, so you know who Walter Hawkins is.
I do.
So Jamie Hawkins is Walter Hawkins' son. He was an incredible artist, musician, and he was opening for Jill and this is in 2000, opening for Jill at the House of Blues. We did about a week of shows there, and Quincy was there to see Jamie Hawkins, and so he stayed to see Jill Scott. You know who Jill Scott was, but he stayed, I guess, to catch a little bit of who Jill Scott was, and apparently, um, he fell in love with her music, fell in love with her artistry. He came up to the dressing room, and we were like, "Oh my God, who's at the door? It's Quincy Jones." So he came in and he spoke to Jill, and it was so many other artists and so many other people in that room, Layla Ali and Robert Townsend,
Wow.
and that's when Denzel met Jill. I don't know if you remember the story of how Denzel was on 106 in Park,
Yeah.
and and talked about like Jill Scott, that he had one in the car and one in the house, and this is when Jill, this is the night that Jill met Denzel for the first time. So you got
Wow.
Denzel and his wife and all of these people in there, and Quincy Jones in there, and then Quincy Jones. I wanted, to say hi, and me and the trumpet player, my homeboy Matt Cap, who's toured with me with everybody, um, uh, and we went to speak this to say hi to Quincy Jones, and he said he complimented us on our horn arrangements because Quincy's a jazz trumpet player.
Absolutely.
So he complimented us on our horn arrangements with Jill and all of that, and it was awesome. And I was like, before he walked away, I was like, Mr. Jones, I said, Mr. Jones, he was like, call me Q. So I was like, Q, true story, true story. I said, Q, please tell me something. I said, can you just give me, I may not ever meet you again. Can you just tell me something, give me some kind of advice that will help me in this business, help have a something that would give me a long sustainable career in this business. Just give me one of them golden nuggets. And he said, and I quote, "You are who you can call. You are who you can call. Relationships are everything in this business, and nurture everyone."
Beautiful advice, and it's so true.
From the business side, that's the advice I would give.
Absolutely.
From the musician side, practice every day, and preparation is your best friend.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you so much, man. I appreciate this. I won't hold you too long. I can talk all day,
Thank
man.
you, man.
So
Me
I
too.
really do appreciate this.
Me too. Me
I
too.
know it's been a long day for you. Safe travels on this tour, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Where you based? Where you based?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
So
Okay.
hopefully you land here at some point, and I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
get out there to see.
My manager's out there. My manager
Okay,
lives in Cleveland. Yeah,
okay, cool.
Myron Ruffin. He lives
Okay,
in Cleveland. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well,
So
thank
I
you
plan to be
so.
coming out that way. Absolutely.
All right, man.
Absolutely.
You have a great evening. Safe travels,
Thank you.
and I'm sure I'll run into you at some point.
Everybody, social media, I am Jeff Bradshaw. I am Jeff Bradshaw on all social media, and please download Jeff Bradshaw 20 today. Thank you so much.
Beautiful album, man. I really,
Thank you,
really
man.
appreciate you, and I'm always looking forward to more.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man.
All right, now you have a good evening.
You too.